Hi, I'm Bernie Hayes. Today we'll be talking about diversity with Dr. Sheila Bouie-Sledge. Today on The Bernie Hayes Show. Well, my guest is Dr. Sheila Bouie-Sledge, and she has a program called My Diversity Circle. Welcome, Dr. Sledge. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. This is great.
Great. My Diversity Circle. Tell us what that's about.
Well, My Diversity Circle is a group of individuals in the community who are of backgrounds that are very different culturally, racially, and of course, ethnicity, and sometimes even in occupation. And these individuals come together to work on diversity issues in the community. We volunteer to look at problems that we think we can solve, and then we research the possibilities to solutions, and then we decide to set up a goal and go after solving those problems. So we've been having a good time as friends, and we're also networking with each other when it comes to diversity issues in the community so that we grow as a community that understands that St. Louis is going to grow diversity, and that we're always going to be positioned right in the middle of the United States with a great diversity mentality.
Okay. We're talking about cultural diversity, religious diversity, racial diversity, or what?
Yes, I think the spectrum is all the above. We work on various age groups, and we've been looking at our youth a lot, and we have an adult program, and then we have a great fundraiser.
What's your mission?
Excuse me?
What is your mission?
Our mission is to get people to talk to one another. It's very simple. That with diversity, we have to be able to understand our differences and yet find the commonality so that our communities can thrive and that we will be very significant and a great player in the world when it comes to working with people and through people. And of course, sustaining a great community and economic vision here in St. Louis.
Was this this project your idea?
Well, interesting enough, yes. I was going through some educational programs and decided to start my doctoral program. And my education began back around 2014 when we had the Ferguson uprising.
Yes.
And found myself looking for a project that would help St. Louis grow and people in St. Louis. And my project went in the direction of diversity. And what does diversity look like in St. Louis, and how do people perceive diversity? And can they receive the idea that diversity is nationwide? And of course, it's international. So we found ways, a group of us, to talk about diversity just as a good opportunity to have lunch together and dinner together and just visit, so that when there are racial or cultural or economic uprisings, we have a network of friends that we can always come to and chat about the situation and work together and not feel frustrated with newsreels telling us who we are. So My Diversity Circle then was created, and we continue to have those wonderful once-a-month meetings, and we have great conversations, and we dialogue about what's going on in the world.
Do you have any short-term objectives and long-term goals?
Our objective is to, first of all, look at some youth components. And one of the youth components we have is a chess program. We believe working with young people and giving them critical thinking skills that are fun will help them no matter where they go in their lifestyle. And especially if they remain in the Midwest or in the United States, they're able to think through problems and get to solutions without feeling frustrated. And so that's one of our long-term goals, is to participate in the Chess Federation programs in St. Louis. And by the way, we are the nation's headquarters here in St. Louis. It's a great organization. So that's one of our long-term goals, because when you start young, you find out that children will carry with them what you teach them. So that's a fantastic long-term goal. The other long-term goal is to look at who we are as we get dressed every day. You know, fashion plays a real significant role in our lives, but we don't really see diversity when we get dressed every morning. So our fundraiser is called the Many Faces of Fashion.
I think we have a brochure on that, right?
Oh, yeah. This is a great show. We have a way of pulling all groups together and asking for tryouts to model. And of course, we have vendors that provide their clothing, and we have a great venue. We put together a great book, as you see the pictures here, and have a wonderful time. The key to this particular kind of activity is that we have it inside of various organizations or houses of worship as well that necessarily need an opportunity to have various people cross their threshold. So we started at Salem and Ladue with our first program.
Wow.
Fantastic. We then moved to North Park United Methodist Church in North County. Awesome. And our last year, we were at United Hebrew Congregation in West County. It's been a wonderful program and very exciting.
Okay. Tell us about Dr. Sheila Bouie-Sledge, and also tell us about your background, and also if you have a church yourself.
Well, first of all, I do have a church, which is really wonderful. After serving at Salem in United Methodist Church in Ladue for 8 years, I'm now senior pastor at North Park United Methodist Church. I love working in the community, and I love having contact with all age groups, and that's the way the church positions me, so I enjoy that very much. But a little history about me. I am a St. Louisan, raised in North St. Louis City. I have a twin sister and mom and dad and an older sister. And I actually attended Northwest High School. I know that's a big deal in St. Louis, but I'm not trying to designate zip codes or tell you anything about me by coding my high school.
Sure.
But I do want you to know I also graduated from Missouri State University in Springfield, Missouri. I was their first African-American homecoming queen. And that's where I learned a lot about diversity and how to work with people of all backgrounds and how to galvanize individuals in order to campaign and win. And that was fun for me. Afterwards, of course, I decided to get a master's at St. Louis University in Human Resources, worked in a lot of corporations, had a wonderful experience, especially when ADA was on the forefront. Okay. So after that, I decided, well, just work for a while and enjoy life and get ready to retire someday. Of course, I ended up in a seminary at Eaton Seminary.
Oh,
I decided God was calling me, and I started a program there, and for 3 years, I enjoyed Eaton Seminary, learned a lot, was contacted, and worked with a lot of great people in the community as well. And just recently, I completed my doctorate at United Theological Seminary in Dayton, Ohio. So now I am Dr. Sheila Bouie-Sledge, which puts a little pressure on me to put the project that I used in my doctoral program to work. So I've made mydiversitycircle.com, the project that I initiated and birthed in my doctoral program. I've now made it a nonprofit here in St. Louis.
I mean, that's a wonderful transition you made from human resources into diversity training. If we visited you and not your diversity training sessions, what would we get out of it?
Well, you would learn a lot about where you believe and where you think you fit in versus where you really fit in. Mm-hmm. We're hands-on. You know, you can find yourself looking at the Chess Federation program or the fashion program. And also we do a book read, a book study right now. I'm doing that with Rabbi Brigitte Rosenberg at United Hebrew Congregation once a week, 5 o'clock on Wednesdays. Facebook Live, we actually are going through how to be an anti-racist. So that's a very good way for you to look at these various programs and ask yourself, can I fit into one of these? And it costs you nothing to try. So I encourage you to go to the website, mydiversitycircle.com, leave your name, address, phone number. We'll call you and ask you to join us in any one of these projects. We'd love to have you.
Dr. Sheila Sledge is, I guess, Sheila Bouie-Sledge, Dr. Sheila Bouie-Sledge, and My Diversity Circle is her baby, But we're here at the New Life Evangelistic Center. We're 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. We were at 1411 Locust Street in downtown St. Louis, but Reverend Rice and his staff are still trying to get that facility back open. In the meantime, the services and products that we serve down there, all those services are now here, 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri, 63114. And you can help us stay here. We still are feeding the poor, still sheltering the homeless and so forth. And you can help us through Post Office Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, 63166. And you can go online at www.newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Discover. Takes less than 1 minute for a gift to New Life Evangelistic Center. Back with Dr. Sledge after this.
Will you help New Life Evangelistic Center get back into 1411 Locust Street? Your tax-deductible gifts are urgently needed at this particular time, and there's many different ways that we're working to get back in that facility. One of the ways is to continue to inform the community through the Bernie Hayes Show and other programs. And if you haven't supported the Bernie Hayes Show and the work of New Life Evangelistic Center, please do it now. It's urgently needed. Your gifts are deeply appreciated. So many homeless people are waiting to get back into 1411 Locust, and so many others need the direct help that New Life is trying to provide at this time, but is facing some real financial needs. And that's why your gift is very, very important. And to express our thankfulness for all of you that are sharing your gifts, we want to send you this special Bernie Hayes cup. It's my wife's favorite drinking cup. She loves to drink out of this cup, and this is actually the only coffee cup she wants to use is the Bernie Hayes cup. It's something very special about this cup, and we'll send it to each one of you that share a gift of $25 or more with the New Life Evangelistic Center and ask for your Bernie Hayes cup. It's P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. Your gift will not only help us get back into the 1411 Locust building, but will help our first responders that are on the streets, the first responders that we have out there day after day, night after night. It will help keep our women and children in our safe houses, continue to keep our training programs open, our worldwide mission work, whether it's in India, Haiti, Africa, so many different things the New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. In addition to NLEC TV, tell your family and friends about it. Put it on your phone. Put on your get that phone app on all your friends' phones so that they can all see the Bernie Hayes Show or go to 24.2. It's your prayers and gifts that make all of this possible. I thank God for those of you who continue to pray for the reopening of 1411 Locust and the work of New Life Evangelistic Center. There's so many obstacles we're facing as we try to help the homeless, but we're going to continue to give it to God. We're going to continue to pray. We're going to continue to work, but we need you to partner with us. So again, it's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. I thank God for each one of you that are praying, caring, and sharing.
Welcome back. My guest is Dr. Sheila Bouie-Sledge. She has a brand new organization called My Diversity Circle. Well, let me say, is it brand new, Dr. Sledge?
Well, we opened up our program in 2014. Michael Brown and the Ferguson unrest was something that was quite a shocker to all of St. Louis, and of course Missouri, and the nation was going through a great deal of racial turmoil at that time. So we started at that particular time to come together and decide to be together and work through any racial tensions or programs that we believe would eliminate or eradicate racial tensions in our community. So that's about as early as I can say we've been around. Yeah.
Okay. With the pandemic spreading all around the country and the world, actually, and the racial divisions here in this country, George Floyd and so forth, I can name all of them, as you know. What's your position on that, and how is your diversity circle trying to help that situation?
Our diversity circle is really continuing to meet, number one. We actually know that this is the time that we need to step up, most importantly, because of the racial tensions in America and the COVID-19 and how it has separated us, but yet we're still clashing over issues that we thought we had at least to some point minimized. Unfortunately, we have had to go to the online meetings, and we continue to do that. But fortunately, we found some very good ways to work through programs. We have a book program. We're looking at books that show children of different ethnicities, and we're actually putting a program together and sending books out to children in the St. Louis public school area. That's another way of reaching children who never get mail, who never get a book offered to them free of charge, and they'll get those books. And then we know we've reached inside the home with diversity conversations as well. And I think that's a very smart program that came out of something as difficult as this pandemic has put us in the racial tensions. We're quite upset with how we are viewed in the world and how the world is viewed when it comes to issues of race and violence. And sadly enough, our children are impacted by not only feeling removed from their friends, but knowing that the world is fighting each other based upon the skin that they're in. And that is a sad thing. So we're also thinking of ways to work with the children with their chess program, and we're now online, which is awesome. If you're interested, come to mydiversitycircle.com. We'll give you all the information how to learn all the pieces on the chessboard and how to play chess with each other, even when you can't actually touch one another, but you're safe and you can actually dialogue. As a matter of fact, right now, there's probably about 66 to 76,000 people playing chess right now online. So it's a wonderful way to realize that out of bad, sometimes things good come out, and we're finding that the more we force the way that we want to see our humanity live with one another without violence and without intimidation and without bullying one another and without scars, that we can find good things to do regardless of how the negativity seems to appear over and over again.
If one wanted to support you, how could they, and can they join your circle?
Well, by going to www.mydiversity.com, you can go / and give us a comment and leave your name and phone number and address, and we'll contact you, or email any kind of contact information, and we'll find ways in which to bring you in or to send in the information. If you want to support us, we can receive donations online, as well as the address is 133 Grotto Court, Grotto Court. That's in Florissant, Missouri, 63031. And it can be addressed my attention to Dr. Sheila Bouie-Sledge, My Diversity Circle.
Is there a telephone number?
The telephone number is 314-330-0583. Yes.
What about email?
The email is the address of mydiversitycircle.com, the website.
With your credentials, why did you choose developing a diversity circle at this point in time? You didn't have to do this. You could have done anything you wanted to do.
I think it's very important to say this. You know, somehow America has not been educated or refreshed on understanding how the world looks. Sometimes I think we turn inward, and our church community, our neighborhood community, our school communities, we lock ourselves in, and we believe that what we see every day is what the world looks like. I don't think many people realize that in the 1990 census, people could self-identify in 5 racial categories. And by the year 2000, in the census, you could self-identify out of 63 racial categories. That tells you that in a 10-year period of time, the diversity explosion has been taking place. And here we are, 2020, and a lot of people, I think, are reacting to what they didn't know was happening. The world has changed. It is not changing. It has changed before some people's very eyes. And it's amazing how there is no one population that can declare to be the majority anymore. There are larger groups, of course, by race. But actually, we're plurality in the way we're defined now. There is not one racial group that is so great that is more than 50% of the total population in America. That has changed, and it's going to continue to change. And as children marry and find their partners, there's more diversity that will happen over and over and over again as we grow. So I think that diversity has been like a quiet secret. It's like if we don't tell people, they won't know and they won't get upset. When you educate people and expose them to the truth, they can adjust to it and they can understand one another. They can see that we have mosques being built in America, where before, when I grew up, you didn't see a Muslim mosque unless it was a storefront. So things have changed right before our eyes, and that means people are in this country and in this society. And there's room for everybody. And unless we talk about it and teach it, we are doing a disjustice to ourselves and our communities.
With your interaction with all these different groups, with the Muslims, with the Jews, and so forth,
You must be.
Are you going to concentrate mostly on the St. Louis area?
Mostly, yes. I think the St. Louis area right now, and Kansas City is on our map, and Springfield's on our map. Those are the three largest cities in the state of Missouri. And with those large populations, there's great urbanites that's coming in and out. And I think that we have got to be a lot more open and understanding. We have to read, we have to breathe, we have to understand, we have to interact, we have to live with, and we can't run from it. The old patterns of changing our community when things change is over. You have nowhere to run to. It's time to step back and look at your world and say, okay, this is what America is now. It's not what it was when I was growing up as a baby boomer. Time has passed.
Dr. Sheila Bouie-Sledge is my guest. Dr. Sledge, I'd like to come back and talk to you about faith, because you just came out of the seminary and so forth. So our next break, I want to talk about a little bit about that and anything else you want to talk about.
All right, great.
We're at the New Life Evangelistic Center, 2428 Woodson Road in Oberlin, Missouri, 63114. We'll be right back with Dr. Sledge after this.
Don't just talk about the issues. Plan to make a big difference in behalf of candidates who really care. Candidates who care about the poor, the fatherless, the widowed, the hurting, the homeless, issues like morality and justice. They're all biblical issues, and there are so many good candidates that are out there that won't win if big money just gets in there and pushes them aside. You need to know the candidates, know the issues, and vote for those that are going to represent your biblical values. And those values include caring for migrants, caring for the immigrants and the hurting and the homeless and people that are in need. And that's why your vote is so very, very important. So if you're not going to be able to go to the polls November 3rd, you need to get your mail-in ballot now and get it there. If you hadn't registered to vote, do it immediately. But get involved, because without your vote, a candidate could get elected that's not going to adhere to those values that we all hold dear to us. And that's why it's so critical that not only you vote, but you encourage every member of your family to do the same thing. This is a historical election. Please get involved.
We'll return to our guests after this Black History Moment. Today we'll be talking about braids, which is a rite of passage of many black women in America. The discovery of ancient stone paintings depicting women with cornrows in North Africa shows that braids date back thousands of years. In the earliest known forms on the continent, the styles had a duality of purpose. Not only did they uphold societal customs, but they also were fashionable. A specific look could indicate the clan you belong to, your marital status, or even your age. People would use braids as a map to freedom. For instance, the number of plaits worn could indicate how many roads people would take to walk or to meet someone to escape bondage. Regardless of popularity, braids are an inextricable part of black culture. We've carried these styles with us throughout the history, from Africa to southern plantations to northern inner city salons and beyond, even when our natural beauty was not acknowledged. Braids.
Now you can take NLEC TV anywhere as you put the NLEC TV app on your iPhone or mobile device. NLEC TV is an innovative TV station that's on the cutting edge of community service. On NLEC TV, you'll discover wholesome family, community, renewable energy, and inspirational programming. Those needing energy assistance, food, clothing, or freedom from the cycle of homelessness will find that plus much more on NLEC TV. Now, you can receive NLEC TV by going to 24.2 on your television set or putting the NLEC TV app on your iPhone or mobile device. For further information, call 314-436-2424 or go to nlecstl.org. That's nlecstl.org.
Diversity training is finding your diversity circle and living it. That's our guest, Reverend Dr. Sheila Bouie-Sledge, who came up with a wonderful idea of my diversity circle. And Dr. Sledge, you just come out of the seminary. Tell us about your faith and how that faith is driving you.
Oh, I love this conversation because it's a matter of what do you believe? You know, what do you have confidence in? What do you trust in? Is it a person, a thing? Is it yourself? Is it inward? Is it your only community that you've been exposed to? Or are you in what you hold on to when you have storms of life hit you? And the thing that I learned in seminary is an affirmation that, there is someone, and for me it's God, that is greater than all humankind and the creator of humankind. So my faith has grown, it's been deepened a lot in my readings and studies. And I've looked at other people who are just as close to their God by different names sometimes, and realized that we all learn that we depend upon each other, and some of us depend upon a higher being. And so faith is total trust in something or someone else. And I think that in America, a country that received people because they were running from persecution, because they wanted these various freedoms, these Bill of Rights. One of them was the freedom to assemble and the freedom to worship as you want. And I love this country because of that. And I pray that we never forget that we all came from different shores to this shore for the reason that we fight each other now. Because we're different? No, this is ridiculous. So we have to find a way to rethink this and get our behavior in line with our history. And believe me, we all have a history of coming here for a reason that was not always pleasant.
So if someone was praying to Allah, Buddha, Yahweh, Jehovah,
exactly,
you still embrace them.
Exactly. And I belong to a couple of organizations. One of the subcommittees of the Interfaith Partnership here in St. Louis is Arts and Faith. And so I want to give them a yay because they do a great job in opening up St. Louis to understanding and knowing that there are many people with many beliefs and many faith ways of worship and different houses of worship. And we're to celebrate each other because the God that we know is the God that someone else knows as well. Yeah.
We had this brochure here, my mission, my vision, my diversity circle. I like for the people to see that. Bob can put it up. And it's so much in here that are these available for general
Yes, they are
public?
available online. And as well, if you contact the website, we can also mail them out to you by all means. I think whoever you are and wherever you are, if you're now saying, this is a difficult time and I'd love to know more, I'd love to not show how much I don't know, I'm a little nervous about it, I think we're the organization for you. We don't run toward you, we open our arms and say, hey, which one of these would you like to join? Or would you like to just listen to some of our book programs and just take your time, but commit. It's a time to commit so that you will learn more, so that you can breathe through these difficult times, so you can decide when you're looking at TV who's speaking the truth and who's not. Basically, it's easy when you can take your time and join a group of like people that are trying to figure it all out and make sure that we move forward instead of backwards in our country.
Okay, before we run out of time, tell us once again how to contact you, how to reach you.
Please reach us at mydiversity.com. That's www.mydiversitycircle.com.
Okay. And I only have about a few seconds left, but tell us the role your beautiful mother plays in your life.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
How does your beautiful mother, what part does she play in your life?
My mom is 92 years old and she's beautiful as ever. She has great wisdom. I love to listen to her. I suggest for those of you who don't have someone in your life that has a lot of wisdom right now, reach out. And there are people in this community. There are 5 generations living right now. There's no reason not to have relationships with different people that can give you perspectives on life and
Dr.
lift
Sheila,
us all up.
Dr. Sledge, we're out of time.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you so very much.
Thank you.
We learned a lot today, and I want to say thank you very much for taking time out during this pandemic to visit us here at the New Life Evangelistic Center.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
My Diversity Circle. I'm Bernie Hayes. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.